What's going on, guys? I am very small in my little corner because we got fancy PowerPoint slides coming up. We're doing player accolades races. So we haven't talked about this a lot on the desk, but there is $500 up for grabs for the Golden Striker, the most goals per game, Clutch Playmaker, the most assists per game, and Savior of the Season, I think it's called, or something like that. I'm actually not sure. For the most saves or saves per game. For the season for both North America, Europe, and OCE, but we'll be focusing on North America and Europe here. So let's go down the list of like the leaderboard and then who I think is going to win each one, and yeah, we'll go from there. So let's get into it. First off, we got the Golden Striker race right now. Garrett G's leading the way. Gimmick had a huge lead coming into last week, but then he only put up 3 goals in 9 games, so he has moved down the list. So he was at 1.6 goals per game, so he really dropped off just a bit, but he's still right there in the running. But we got Garrett G, number 1. Squishy and Gimmick tied for number 2. Lachino, number 3 or 4, I guess you'd say. And then Chrome, number 5. So, here's the list of people. And I'm actually just going to bring it up on the other side here. The full list. Like, pretty much after that, it falls off pretty considerably. We have Matt, who's in the clubhouse at least, at 0.81. But it's doubtful that anyone drops down to where he is at. So, he's kind of out of the run. And then Torment is the next one on the list. That's how good Cloud9 is at 0.79 goals per game. But for the most part, I would say it's going to be one of these 5. So, coming into this week, we have Energy. They play... What do we got here? We got Evil Geniuses. Excuse me, sorry. Evil Geniuses and Cloud9. And then Cloud9 has CLG and Energy. And I honestly think it's coming down between these 3. Garrett, Squishy, and Gimmick. So right now, Garrett has played 1 extra game, which in a way kind of helps him. Like usually, like if you play more games, then your number can change less. So that helps him a little bit in this aspect. While Squishy and Gimmick, I guess they could fluctuate higher though as well. Personally, I really think that it's going to be someone from Cloud9. It's either going to be Squishy or Gimmick. I think Garrett will drop off just a bit. Like Justin will probably put in some goals for them in the EG series. And that Cloud9 Energy series is going to be really fun to watch. Because it's probably going to come down to like, alright, we're looking for top 2. And we're looking at who's going to score the most goals. And probably all 3 of these guys, it will still be really close in that race. But that CLG match for Cloud9, I think that's where Squish and Gimmick at least catch up to Garrett, and then it comes down to that final matchup. It's tough. I'm gonna give it to Gimmick. Like, I think Gimmick will come out on top. I think he had a slow week last week, but I think Squishy is gonna be the one setting up Gimmick, and Gimmick is gonna come away with the Golden Striker award. We could see a tie here, that's for sure, because I could easily see. I guess not, because I was thinking Cloud9 would play less games again. But I thought they already had more games. So I think Cloud9 probably a 3-0 on CLG. So they'll be at like 22 games. While Garrett, I could see a 4-game set there with EG. So he should be at 24 games. So most likely the percentages or the averages will not work out. So I'm going to go Gimmick here. I think Gimmick can come away with the win. Watch out for Lachino though. He's still got a shot here. He's got G2 and Rogue. But if he can keep putting him home, you never know. He can make a run at it. And then Chrome, it's very difficult for him to move up because they only have 1 series left. He's already played 26 games, as you see here. So he would need a decent amount of goals to skyrocket up or have everyone else drop down to him. That's very unlikely, so I don't think Chrome really has a chance here just because he only has 1 series left. Moving on. Go over to Europe. So Europe, we have... Let me bring it up on my other screen over here in case anyone's close, but it doesn't really look like it. Alright, so we got Cookseer and K-Dop, number 1 and number 2. Technically, Cookseer's in the lead. This is very similar to Season 2, where Cookseer won by, like, mere decimal places, like, past the 100th mark. So Cookseer's in the lead, barely, but he's done. His season is over. He's in the clubhouse. He's waiting. In this golf term, in case you haven't watched golf, where you're in the clubhouse, you have your score, you're watching everyone else compete to see if your score will hold up. Well, Cook's here, looking pretty good. looking pretty good right now at that 1.11. But K-Dop is right there, and we all know K-Dop can put him home. So we'll see between those two. But it's also a lot. Like, you have to add a lot into that conversation. He's number 3, 1.10, just behind K-Dop as well. He's played a little bit more games, so his average will fluctuate a little bit less, but super close. Then we got Freaky, the surprise of the season, 0.87 goals per game. And then I Ignite at 0.78. I would probably rule these two out. I just think, one, they've played a lot of games, and I just don't see them catching up in the score, like in goals, because they would probably play more games than Cooks, and they would have to put up a ton of goals. So I'd probably rule those two out. And then the only other player next after that would be Marky's in the clubhouse as well, too, so he's done. And then Maestro's a little bit further down, but it goes pretty far down after that. Fairy Peak maybe at a 0.70 if he has a huge day, but it's very doubtful. So it's between these three, Cooksier, K-Dop, and a lot. Who is going to take it? Whew. That one's tough. Complexity. They play PSG and Gale Force. Gale Force obviously plays Vitality and Complexity. You know, I think Cooksier is going to take it once again. Just because I don't know if K-Dop can keep up with the 1.11 goals per game he's at right now. Same with a lot. That is very difficult to do. So I'm going to give this one to Cooks. Like, I think he walks away with it just because the other two won't be able to keep up. It's very hard to score over a goal per game. So I'm thinking Cooksier will take this one. Moving on. We got the Clutch Playmaker race. So this one I added another player, and Gimmick, he has 14 assists that you can't see. It's hiding behind my face, but that's okay. We won't worry about that here. So here's the interesting take on this. Hot Wheels Sid, obviously, he has only played 2 series. He is not eligible yet for this award, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure exactly how they're doing it, but you would assume you would have to play 4 series or roughly 15 games to be eligible for this. So if Hot Wheels Sid plays this weekend, maybe he's alive. But again, his assists per game can fluctuate incredibly because he's only played 8 games. So right now, sitting at 1.0 in the lead, but not eligible right now. And then we move down the list. We have Classics at 0.85. with 26 games under his belt. So that's looking really strong for him. Kronovi at 0.8. Corrupted G, 0.77, which is kind of surprised that he's up there. And then Justin and Gimmick leading out the way for the top 5, if you don't count Hot Wheels Sid. There's also Squishy's right behind Gimmick, but he's a little bit further down. And then so on down. We move the list. Zane Jackie's actually up there a little bit, but he's already done. So who's going to win this? This one, I feel like Classics almost has to win it. Like, assists per game are so difficult to get. Like, assists are just really difficult to get no matter what. It's hard for people to catch up. I could see Kronovi maybe making a run at it because he has CLG and Out of Style. So that should be high scoring series 4G2. So that, like, I could easily see a 6-0 for Kronovi, bringing him to 26 games and getting 6 assists. That is very doable. Very, very doable. And then Corrupted G, Classics teammate, you know, they've one more series left. So we'll see exactly how that plays out. But they're playing Energy, a very good defensive team. Should be less assists going around. And that's here. So I think Classics might come down a little bit. And I think Kronovi might jump up. And I think Kronovi's actually going to take this one. Just because of the easy schedule they have this week. So I think Crow will surpass Classics. And I think Classics and Corrupted G both will drop down a little bit. And even Justin might move ahead of at least Corrupted. Maybe even Classics. Depending on how they do. But I think it'll be a hard week to score because you're playing Energy. But we'll see. But I'm going to give it to Kronovi on this one just because of the easy schedule. All right. Moving on. We have EU Clutch Playmaker. All right. So I put Mystic, Yukio, and Niels Cook all in there as number 5 because they're all done. They have finished their seasons. They're at 0.64. I doubt that number holds up because it is so close in Europe. There's so many people below them that are, like, really close. Like, after the 0.64s, then Turbo's at 0.63. Then we have Violent Panda at 0.58. Then Snatsky 0.53. Like, someone will probably move up just because of the luck of the draw on assists. Like, someone's going to do it. But we lead the way with Pashy at 0.74. Completely different from last season when he was the golden striker. Now he's not scoring anything, and he's instead passing to his teammates. And then we got Magnus at 0.71, which is kind of to be expected. He usually passes to a bunch. And then Chaussette, 0.65, and Remco at 0.65. So, let's see here. We got Pashy. It's got a decently tough schedule. Vitality, who else do they play? I always forget. Let me check that real quick. Oh, Envy. They play Envy. Okay, so. And then Envy has Fnatic as well, which is a boon for Remco, I would say. So Remco might move up just a bit here. This one's tough. This one's tough. I think... So right now we got 23 games, so they're all even here. Magnus has played a little bit less, so his can fluctuate a bit more. Complexity's got PSG and Gale Force. Whew, this one's tough. I think Pashy's going to come down a little bit. So I think he's going to have a... I think Vitality's going to have a tough day. Possibly. Over Gale Force and Envy. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to give it to Chaussette. I think Chaussette might make a run at it. They have Complexity, which we'll see how scoring is in that game. It might not be great. But then they have Fnatic later on in the day, so they also get that boon of playing Fnatic. And it's Fnatic's last game of the season. And at that point, they might be eliminated, so they might, you know, not be trying all that hard. So I'm going to go Chaussette here, making a little bit of a run and get into that assist thing. So I think Pashy's going to come down. Magnus could easily win this as well. It just depends how many assists he gets. He's got Gale Force, though, the best defense that he's got to battle later on in the day. So I'm going to give this one to Chaussette. I think Chaussette might be able to make a run. But I doubt Mystic Yukio and Neos Cook will hold up. But that would be kind of cool if we have a three-way tie for the assists per game. All right, moving on. Next up, we have the Savior Race. And this one's pretty set in stone, I would say, in my opinion. Let me bring it up over here on my other screen as well. So Lethamir's in the lead at 2.12, but his season's done. So he's looking real good. Then we got Epic Johnny, Hado, Miho, and Lochinio. All bad teams. This is how it usually works for the Savior of the season. It's not always this way, but generally the bad teams give up a lot of shots, so they got to save a lot of balls. Alright, so I'm not a big fan of the Savior Award just because you can kind of, like, when your season's done, like, play for it. Hopefully teams don't do that, but they could play for it where it's like, alright, we're just going to leave you in net. We'll go up and still, you know, compete, but we're going to leave you mostly in net so you can try and get a couple more extra saves for your team or for your player so he can win the money. I'm not a big fan of that. Like, goals and assists are very difficult to do, so you can't really plan those out. Like, I would much rather see goals, assists, and then maybe shooting percentage would be kind of fun or something like that. Sure, that might also go to the goal scorer, but, you know, I don't know. Maybe I would like to see that, or, I don't know, like, if you have any things that you would like to see, like a leaderboard of between players for an award at the end of the season, let me know. Put it in the comments below. But Lethamir right now, 2.12. Epic Johnny, 2.05. So him and Hado are doing things. They have 20 games played. They still have to play 2 series left, I believe. Yeah, they both have 2 series left. Miho is that weird one right now because he can easily move up because he's only played 13 games. If he plays this week, then obviously he will be eligible. So we'll see based on that. But he has a chance to move up. He plays what? G2 and let's see. Keep forgetting who everyone is playing. And Cloud9. So that could be a lot of saves for Miho just because of the amount of shots from Cloud9 at least. G2 doesn't shoot that much, but they might at that point. Who knows? I assume this is either Lethamir or Miho. I just don't see anyone else catching them. Epic Johnny might, but I doubt it. I feel like Miho, like if he has to make a lot of saves, at least he can jump up quicker. But I think Lethamyr will hold on to this title at 2.12. So we'll give it to Lethamyr, but watch out for Miho. Watch out. Next up, the EU Savior race. We have Yukio in the clubhouse at 2.18 saves per game. Per game. Maestro 2.11. Turbo at 1.95. Shawset at 1.91. And Magnus at 1.90. Anyone else really close? Siki 1.89. Then Fairy at 1.78. Freaky 1.7. So it goes down the list from there. But Yu-Gi-Oh's done. Complete. The one benefit that Maestro has is he has only played 19 games because Fnatic has just been getting beat that badly. So they haven't had to play that many games in order to lose their series. He could easily catch him. I think that's very, very plausible. It's only a couple extra saves per game, like 2.5, you know, in that week. And then Turbo, I think he's a little too far down, and I don't expect him to have to make a ton of saves. Same with Shawset. I think they're just a little too far down, and Shawset's also played a lot more games as well. So, between Maestro and Yukio, I'm going to give this one to Maestro. I think with their 2 series left, he's also played a lot less games. There could be a lot of save opportunities. It just depends if he's actually getting the saves for his team. But I think he has a decent chance here. Let's check their schedule again, because I forget. Envy and PSG. Yeah, you know what? I think it could be Maestro, because Envy takes a lot of shots. They're not very accurate, so they just like to throw the ball at the net a ton. They've got more accurate last week, obviously, but I think that's where Maestro can catch up, and then he might dwindle a little bit on PSG, so we'll see. We'll see how that one goes, but I'm going to give it to Maestro here. I think he can make up the ground on Yukio and get the Savior race. Well, that'll do it, guys, for all of the player accolades for North America and Europe. Let me know who you think is going to win in each. Let me know why I'm wrong, and let me know if you want, like, hey, the Savior player accolade, say we changed it, what would you make it? Because I'm not a huge fan of the Savior accolade, but I wonder if you guys are. Anyway, that'll do it for this video. We got lots of videos this week. I assume, I'm not sure when this one comes out, but whenever it comes out this week before Rlcs, you'll see it. So, that'll do it here. And, yeah, we'll catch you next time. Bye.